What's the crack, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about things like this.
Okay, the key to the place is in a lockbox that's virtually impossible to reach. Are you ready for the instructions?
Okay.
Things like this.
Do not pull, open, or push to close. Please do not clean marble countertops or appliances with any abrasives. Please only use soap and water spray bottle provided below sink.
And things like this.
On her extra rules, it was $50 a minute for late checkout.
That's right, I'm going to be talking about 11 things that Airbnb guests absolutely hate. And I do too, and so does he. Now I promise this video is for guests and hosts. We're going to build some bridges and empathize with each other. It's going to be beautiful.
Wow.
Now if you're watching this and you're a guest user of Airbnb and you've experienced any of these things, well then first of all, please accept my apology on behalf of the entire industry. Secondly, hold my beer because I'm on a mission to stop all of this bad practice. And if you're new to the channel and you're a host, then hi, my name's Dave and I'm the founder of a multi-award winning property management company right here in Belfast. We host over 15,000 guests a year across about 75 properties, and this channel exists to help you level up your Airbnb game or start the right way. Now let's get into it. The first thing I need to say is the vast majority of us hosts are doing our best to run a business the right way to deliver a good service to the guests. But often, because of multiple reasons, we end up making poor choices that lead us down an avenue where we get into trouble with guests. The trouble with these guests is not only do they let you know in reviews, but with social media, you just can't get away with these things for long. So kicking off with complaint number one, and it's a convoluted, really difficult, confusing check-in process. Now, who recognizes like this?
When you approach the building, there'll be a hedge to your right.
Yeah.
Okay, I need you to climb over the hedge and then scale the wall.
Scale the wall.
Now, if you're a guest, I can imagine that you are tearing your hair out trying to follow this treasure map about where your key is. As I say, there is a reason why us hosts have to do this. So often if your apartment that you're coming to stay in is in an apartment building, hosts aren't able to just go and attach key safes to the main building. They own the apartment, but they don't have any right to start drilling holes outside of the property. So they've got to get creative and think of places to put it that you'll be able to find it, but that the building isn't gonna come and shout at them for. And if it's a house you're coming to, having a key safe right near the front door in full view of anyone isn't very secure. You know, this is the host's property. Anyone could come along, smash that key safe with a hammer and gain access to the property. So it does have to sort of be hidden a bit. Yes, I get that it's super frustrating. So for hosts, here is the solution. Instead of speaking to someone on the phone and giving them all these directions, which are gonna be easily misinterpreted, or if people don't understand the language, it's gonna be real trouble. We're sending a massive long email of all the instructions. Just do this. Take a short video, show exactly where the key safe is from the entrance, show exactly how to open the key safe, because that's another thing that whilst we think we're so straightforward that we can open our key safe, there's so many different key safes out there. Guests get confused. Show them how to open it. Job done. Number two, this.
A huge information guide on what to do. Next is the amount of information that's given just every moment after that. In every way possible. In every part of the room.
There must be nothing more peculiar for a guest to walk into a property and just see signs everywhere. Now guests, if you're wondering why hosts do this, let me tell you why. This might be the first time you're visiting this property, but this host has had probably dozens or hundreds of previous guests staying there before you. And you know what? They've got fed up answering the same question about this thing, and this thing.
How do you work the oven? What's the Wi-Fi code? How do you turn your shower on? How do you adjust the heating? How do you lock the door?
As hosts, these do great on us. We think again that they're straightforward, but we acknowledge and realize that you as guests coming to stay in this property in a different country potentially don't know how everything works. So we're just trying to help you out. We're trying to show you how it works because we know that if we don't, you're gonna come and ask us a million questions. Yes, this is our business, but we've got other stuff going on. If you contact us while we're trying to put our kids to bed or cook dinner or we're out with our wife or husband, we might not be able to get back to you straight away, and that's going to annoy you. So the signs are just trying to clear everything up so everything's straightforward. But host, let me fire this back to you now. Stop putting really confusing stuff in your properties. If you're buying a microwave, make it the most simple, straightforward microwave ever. Just one dial to turn on and off. Yes, a very fancy coffee machine is going to deliver amazing coffee, but it's going to be too complicated for guests to figure it out. Just keep things simple. And regarding signs on don't use this or be careful with this, stop putting antique or very expensive stuff in your property. properties. Furniture should be durable and also replaceable. Now for the signs, here's the solution. Have one guest book with everything in it. And a pro tip for something that's really hard to describe in words, get a QR code that when someone scans it, it links to a video showing them how to use the thing. We're visual creatures, and watching someone do it is going to be much more easy to follow than a big long list of instructions. Number 3 has 2 parts to it. The first part, cleaning fees. The second part, which makes it even worse, is also then asking the guest to clean the property before they leave. I think this is one thing that pisses guests off more than anything. You're being charged a cleaning fee, sometimes very high, but then the host is also asking you to clean the property. That doesn't really make sense to guests, and I get it. So either charge the cleaning fee and don't ask them to do anything, or just include the cleaning fee in the nightly rate, then ask them to tidy up after themselves. But even then, you've got to be reasonable here. You're not asking for a full clean. Load the dishwasher and maybe take out your rubbish. And guess this is why it's reasonable. Whenever the cleaners arrive to clean after you've stayed, if they have to put the dishwasher on, that's going to take a long time. Or if you can just put the stuff on and turn it on before you leave, by the time the clean's finished, they'll just be able to empty the dishwasher and everything will be fine. And for hosts, you've got to really think about these cleaning fees. Like, we are like a small hotel, and can you imagine checking out at a hotel and being charged a cleaning fee and also being asked to clean the hotel room before you left? You just wouldn't stand for it. And the last point that bugs me whenever I'm trying to book an Airbnb to stay in is that it's just another added cost. When you do a search, I like to see the full price of what I'm going to be paying. I don't want to see lots of little add-ons. It's like a budget airline. You pay for your seat, then you got to pay for your luggage, then you got to pay for check-in and all this. It's a horrible part of our society these days. All right, number 4, having crazy, unreasonable rules or restrictions for guests while they're staying in the property. Now, guests, you might be thinking, how dare you say all this stuff? I'm not allowed anyone here. I'm not allowed to wear shoes. I'm not allowed all this stuff. This is so oppressive. But guess what? There's a reason why. Because us hosts have to cater for the 1%, well, maybe 10% of guests that are absolute crazy. If you stay in a property that has some crazy rules in it, guess why? It's because all those rules were at one time broken. The host is just trying to cover themselves to make sure that the property is going to be looked after and that you're not going to come and just have a crazy party and wreck the place. Now, as hosts, yes, it's reasonable to have rules to stop antisocial behavior or illegal activity, but be reasonable, don't be a dick. The vast majority of your house rules should never be even a chance of being broken by most of your guests. All right, number 5, an inaccurate Airbnb listing or description. So we're talking like Airbnb versus reality here. We're talking a fisheye lens to make a very small space seem massive, or creative photos to not show the bad stuff in the property but just show the good stuff. Now, guests, why do you think this host is doing this? This is a business they're running. They want to earn from this property. They're trying to showcase the best stuff. But hosts that do this are like those insecure men who run around with Lambos and Rolexes to try and show that they're better than they are. Although I actually really would love a Lambo. Now, for hosts, yes, your property isn't perfect. Yes, it might be small. But remember, guests are actually going to come and stay here, so you can only trick them for so long. They're going to leave reviews and everyone else is going to find out about your dirty little secret. If the place is small, that's fine. Call it a snug, call it a loft, a studio. If there's something weird or awkward about the area, about the building, just be open and honest. The guests are going to find out anyway. You're going to save yourself a lot of hassle and a lot of disappointed guests, disappointed messages back and forth about people feeling cheated. Number 6 is poor communication from the hosts. Either too little or too much. Now, there's 2 extremes here. There's some hosts that from the minute the booking is made, you're getting constant emails, massive amounts of information about everything to expect, everything you need to do. It's overwhelming. And then you get other hosts who send you nothing, to the point where on the day of arrival, you're wondering, is this booking even real? Does this place exist? So why do hosts send so much information? Well, previous guests like you have asked millions of questions in the past. Now, us hosts know that if one person's asking that, it's probably useful information for a lot of other people. So we're trying to be helpful. We're trying to cram as much useful information into those emails as possible so you're fully informed about what to expect. But yes, that results in absolute thousands and thousands of words before you've even arrived. Now, for hosts, I know the position you're in. Again, like the other points, you've been tortured by guests. You're trying to get ahead of this and provide all the information. One thing that I found really useful is to provide a very short confirmation welcome email and then have small links that say, this is how you check in. And it's a link to somewhere else. You know, this is our house rules. It's a link to somewhere else. So guests aren't bombarded with information, but they can see the key points and they can click and find out the information that they need. Number 7 is some crazy location issues. You can have the nicest property in the world, but if it's in a really bad location, you're gonna be in trouble. And guests hate this. Guests are booking a place in a town or city or area they've potentially never been to. They don't know where the good areas or bad areas are. They're putting trust in you as a host that you're only gonna provide a property that's in a good, welcoming location. And hosts, yes, you can pick up properties pretty cheap in some dodgy areas, but they're cheap for a reason. I've seen reviews from Airbnbs here in Belfast where guests have reported taxi drivers told us we were not safe here. If you get one review like that on your listing, it's done for. All right, number 8 of the things that really annoy guests is not leaving essential amenities. Now, I'm not talking fancy stuff like a hot tub or an Xbox. I'm talking basics like tea, coffee, dishwasher tablets, and my personal favorite, toilet roll. You don't have to leave hundreds of stuff, but guests expect that if you're providing a dishwasher, you're gonna have a few dishwasher tablets. It's frustrating for them to have to go out and spend 8-10 quid on a full box of dishwasher tablets. You're the host, you provide it. And from the host perspective, guests, we know you steal our stuff. We try to be nice hosts and leave enough for everyone throughout their stay, but you either take too much or you use it all and keep asking for more and more and more. Number 9 is guests walking into an unclean apartment. Now, who can argue with that? What guest is going to come into an unclean apartment and feel happy? No one. And I'm not here to justify unclean apartments, but guests, from a host's perspective, housekeepers and cleaners can let us down. We put our trust in other people to clean our properties so they're spick and span for you arriving, and sometimes it doesn't work. Yes, we can clean our properties ourselves sometimes, but there are a lot of moving parts in this business, and our time is often better spent dealing with you as the lovely guest and answering all your questions. Finding cleaners that are reliable and trustworthy and good at their job is the hardest part of this business. We hate it too whenever a guest arrives and the place isn't clean. So hosts, for you, my tip would be, do not scrimp on housekeepers. Pay above market rate to get someone that you can trust and is going to be reliable. Number 10 is unresolved maintenance issues. So you check into an apartment, you find the bed's broken or the washing machine's flooded or something's wrong in there. It's so frustrating. And you say to the host, you're like, this is not suitable, this is not acceptable for us to be checking in like this. Let me tell you from the host perspective, guaranteed that on the morning that you have arrived, someone has left and the housekeeper has gone in and has found the bed broken or the curtains hanging off the wall or something like that, and they've reported it to the host. Now, what does the host do? He or she can try and fix it before you arrive. They can cancel your booking and tell you to move somewhere else. No. They're trying to get it fixed as quickly as possible, but you've got to bear with us. The frustrating thing is often the guests that break these things don't tell the host, so all the time that we could have used to get it fixed is wasted and we only find out once those guests leave. Talking to the host now, speed is of the essence, you know this, but it's also important that you don't just do a patch job just to fix something a bit, gaffer tape all around it that you know is going to break again. And the last thing guests hate about Airbnbs is when we get into these arguments about refunds and disputes and charges. I guess, as I say, this is our business, this is our livelihood. If you broke something in a hotel, the chances are they're going to charge you for it. We have a tight turnaround between you leaving and the next set of guests arriving. We don't always have time to go to the shop and buy more wine glasses if you happen to break them, or new bed sheets if you happen to spill something on them. It's super frustrating whenever everything that we put into this property gets broken or damaged by people who just seem to be a bit careless. Now, to hosts, I say, accidents happen. People are staying in these properties on their holidays, they're on a vacation, they're relaxed, they're not taking care as much as they would at home. And that comes with the territory. This is a hospitality business. If someone breaks a glass in a restaurant, they're not gonna get it added to the bill. Don't charge for everything. Take a balanced approach. You know, one way we like to do it is say, look, don't worry about it. These things happen. However, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave us a 5-star review instead. The guests are going to appreciate it. You've just let it slide. They're going to like you and hopefully leave you that review. Now, if you've made it to the end, you definitely need to check out this video, which is showing the dark side of Airbnb hosting. So guests, this is going to show you a much deeper understanding about what us hosts have to go through. And apologies, I do go on a bit of a rant about you guests. See you next time.